he prepares himself to climb down the chains into the room below.
Winter gives Wreckage one little pat on the cheek, says he'll be back, and gets behind Coltaine, ready to go down after him. Slightly like a pussy.
So press to go down the chains too.
I think you should
Gets
cut the
behind
rope.
Coltaine, ready to go down, and pussy in the same sentence.
So bad.
Alright, with the Drogon and Sorrow and Wintier all ready to descend to finally confront Calarel, that's where we'll end the session. But just some business to take care of now. XP for starters from last session. But before we go through the XP, I want to know who's getting a resurrection. So, Wreckage, resurrection, yes or no?
No.
Autumn?
Well, if Calarel's the last thing they have to do, then we'd be going to a new campaign, wouldn't we?
Once this is completed, once you've stopped Calarel, this adventure is over.
I'll reroll with, what's his name?
So no resurrection for Autumn?
No.
But I wanna kill the jelly.
Yeah, I want to kill the jelly too. I was the first one who wanted to kill the jelly.
But you're Sorrow now, you don't know about that. Well, you do know about it, but you
It's
don't
true.
want to kill it. Okay, so if there's no res for Autumn or Wreckage, you guys don't need to add this XP.
Can I overrule Dave not wanting to res Wreckage because I love Wreckage?
The spirit needs to be willing to return. If
Well-
you want, you can stop playing Wintier and play Wreckage.
Nah,
But you're only gonna have
Wintier's
one
more
character.
useful.
Hey, CJ, question. Since on the second battle, 2 people died, is it still splitting 5-way? Or is it 3-way?
Yes, because they contributed throughout the battle. If they died
Well-
before the battle, they contributed by
So-
tanking hits. That's damage that was not dealt to you.
Barely count.
Yeah. Stop anticipating our criticism.
I've been through over a decade of this. You can't surprise me.
Over a
That's a
decade of
challenge.
Dave being useless? Sorry, that was a low blow, Dave. I'm sorry.
His character's dead. Leave the poor guy alone.
He's happy.
Leave
He wanted
Britney
Wreckage to
Spears
die.
alone. Leave her alone.
These good people.
Okay, so for the previous battle, which was statistically more difficult than this one, which you handled masterfully by use of choke points, you each, the 3 of you who are alive, receive 206 XP. And for this slightly less statistically difficult battle that was not handled as well due to miscommunications and players not all agreeing on a certain plan, you each receive 195 XP. Is that enough for Coltaine to level? I think you guys can use all the extra power. Awesome!
Ow.
Great. You can really use that for the for the next battle.
Is it like WoW, where he gains a level in the middle of battle, and he gets full HP and everything, and saves the day?
It's not in the middle of battle. This is during his short rest. He's leveling up. He's not going up to max HP, but his HP is increasing. I mean, he's just 2 off from his max HP, so it doesn't really matter.
Out of curiosity, how many hit points did the underpriest have?
I can't answer that. I think maybe Sorrow can provide some insight on something about that. Sorrow?
Oh, by the way, he might be alive.
Why might he be alive? I think they want some details.
Well, they didn't ask. Okay, because this is directly over a pool of blood. So he just went whoosh whoosh.
Wait, but we heard a thud.
Yeah, definitely heard a thud.
You don't thud into a pool of blood, unless it's really coagulated and hard.
Well, I guess if it was far
The
enough,
acoustics
surface
are
tension would be strong enough to... But if the surface tension was strong enough to create a thud, then he shouldn't have survived.
It was a 50-foot drop, which probably is survivable for you guys, so...
It's 50 feet, then not to mention the walls resounding the noise. It could be easily mistaken.
I have pointy ears. I don't mistake anything.
Except crying for your mommy.
No, I knew exactly when I was crying for my mommy. Thank you very much. So, we could have tried to kill him, and instead we're gonna have to fight the bad guy and his underling and an imp when we go down there.
Possibly. If any,
Possibly,
and
but at the
also
very
other stuff.
least, he is damaged. He's either wounded or he's dead from the fall.
He's bloodied. Get it? Get it? Get it?
Could I just shoot arrows straight down randomly and kill him?
You can definitely try.
That'll be worse than the spider.
Let's throw bodies down just to see if something's gonna happen.
Well, I have 125 arrows. So I could just... Well, just for fun, I'd like to do one twin strike down into the pit.
I have an idea.
You're dead, you don't get ideas.
Drop the two human bodies, the two dead humans. Drop their bodies on into the pit and see and try to listen to what happens then.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Even disregarding what we hear, just dropping stuff down might hurt anything down there.
Well, we took a 5-minute rest, so if anything was in the pool, it's probably gone by now.
Oh, that's true. Alright, let's man up and do it. Taking on the role of the dead glorious leader. Inspired by his Holy Spirit. That's what Winter says.
How many chains are there? Or just one chain?
4 large chains connected to the floor, run down the side. They are slippery with blood, which means you can kind of slide down them.
Sorrow grabs the closest one and starts sliding down.
Okay, hold on. We've ended the session. Didn't I say this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. She does it anyway. Initiative.
That's John for you, always charging ahead.
Recap.
Tough battle lies ahead. Last battle of the adventure.
Hey, what's this green thing that's difficult to write, by the way?
This?
Yeah.
That's a shattered pillar. These are 4 pillars. They're glowing.
okay.
This
Yeah,
one
yeah,
is
yeah.
kind of toppled over and shattered. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's this whole design on the floor that looks like the maw of a big, like, demon
Yeah, I saw
lord.
that.
Yeah, it's the ox head orcus thing, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that
I was
thing
looking at
that you
it, and I was like, yeah, that's probably what it is. Like he's drinking blood.
So then,
Yeah, I got that part.
Looks
What's
like he has
this
a
orcus
speaker in his
thing?
mouth.
what?
What is it supposed to be? Like, I can see that it's a face with the blood and everything, but...
It's like a demonic thing, or something of that sort. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Good one.
Hmm. Sorry. What?
I said good one.
Oh, I see. Because I wasn't paying attention. And
You know, the real irony here is that the one time Wreckage does something really, I guess you can say heroic. I mean, normally he doesn't, you know, Dave doesn't normally play Wreckage so reckless. The one time he charges in heroically, it kills him.
That's also what Zaxard II did.
That's what all of John's characters did.
Yeah, they worked.
Yeah, I think this is the first character where I can't charge someone. But given the opportunity,
Probably for the
And
best.
yourself by not giving her melee capabilities.
I swear
Oh,
to
she has
God,
a
if
staff.
one battle, no, if one battle we're doing like awesome and just one person left, I swear to God, I'm charging it with my staff.
then he'll get massacred and make a new character.
It's well worth it.
Wait, didn't you do that with the Yeah, you did that with the stupid scythe.
Yeah, I always did that.
We should notice that right now there's only like one true member of the Drogans left, right?
Yeah, Coltaine's gotta up his recruiting efforts.
No, this is the fun part, is when I don't recruit anyone else. I actually made a bet with myself that Coltaine would outlive the rest of the Drogons.
And he has, so now he can recruit more people.
And look, you
You
also
know
have
what?
like you have the gold from like Autumn's body and from Wreckage's body, so you can give that the signing bonus again.
No,
Hey
no,
there,
use it to
sorry,
make a
bonus,
commemorative
bonus
plate.
of 50 copper and 1 silver.
Yeah, you guys took all of her gold to resurrect her, remember?
Anyway, maybe, you know what? As they're scaling the chains, Coltaine will invite them to join the group.
Did Winter end up taking Wreckage's armor? Can he wear the armor?
I asked him, but then someone was making snide remarks about how we were wasting our time.
The hide armor?
Wait, who was making snide remarks?
I made no such comments. If you inferred that, that's your prerogative. I made no such implication. I was merely
Damn
stating
those
the
big
facts.
Just to give you guys
If
an
I
idea,
wear hide armor, I don't think you need a special proficiency for it. The proficiency gets rid of the -1 check that the armor gives.
No, you still have a
No,
minus
proficiency
one.
means you can use it.
I was reading this.
If you're unproficient, you get further penalties, I believe.
And if I were implying anything from, just to follow up on my previous point, if I were implying anything from what I had said, it would have likely referred not to the useful dialogue, but the blithering dialogue.
I think I'm just sensitive to this because of the other campaign. I'll never forget
Just to
the White Devil
give you
quest.
just to give you guys a list. On Wreckage, there is 1 battle axe, 1 scimitar, 1 mace, several.
Okay, a bunch of
javelins,
weapons that they're not going to use, yes.
and most importantly, there is Zaxxar 2's scythe.
Zaxxar 1's scythe, no?
2.
The first
Two
one
had
is
a-
the same.
Number 1. Yeah,
It was
What?
the first one they used to say.
What was the second one using then?
he was a paladin.
Like a greatsword or something. Oh, it'll use the falcon.
Falcon,
actually.
Falcon, yeah. You guys didn't take any
Speaking of which,
commemorative item
I
off
also
of him.
have your falcon.
Okay,
it
so
carries
on
the
their way
memory
out,
of-
they can... Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the hide armor is more important. Because it's not just hide armor, it's +1 hide armor with damage resistance properties. Which, I'll mention again, Wreckage has never used.
Oh, terrible.
And
You know,
we
you might
got
have been
that
alive
on like
today
our
if you
4th
did.
session. That's not true, it was like
Actually,
our 10th.
I-
Still.
I want to give Dave a chance to redeem himself. I don't know if you guys know Tosh.0, but he does these web redemptions. So, Dave, what was
I
going
love
through your
that.
mind? Yeah, Tosh is awesome, but you had a bit of a Leroy moment there. So what exactly... I understand that you wanted to focus fire down the underpriest, but Sorrow had mentioned vampires, you saw those 2 brutes. What was going through your mind there?
And we all had super low initiative.
Yeah, that was my error. I thought that we had like a bit higher.
No
than
kidding!
that.
Right, but what, so you thought that everyone would have been able to rush in with you, is that it?
Pretty much. I was hoping that everyone would rush in, at least get Coltaine on one of the humans, and then Autumn would be able to help me out with the priest. I could flank with her. But yeah, that didn't work at all.
I took 1 move action in there, and then, before it was my turn again, he was dead.
Yeah, I understand why you didn't want to hold the choke point, because you figured, okay, he's going to be ranged, so he's going to just peg us from far. So, I'll give you props for that. However, we've seen previously, i.e. last battle, your close the door tactic. Was there a reason you
but-
didn't want to go for that?
Yeah, but zombies are dumb. These guys are smart.
So that means we should be stupid?
Yes.
Yeah, we were told that there were vampires not in the big room, but somewhere else.
Yeah, but on plus of that, like after I moved in, right, the first thing the vamps did is go behind us, which is why I was like, oh, okay, so the party's gonna move forward now. But then, no, everyone decides to stay in the freaking little doorway there.
Because by the time it was Winter's turn again, he was completely surrounded by vampires.
Completely.
Speaking of which, in the future, don't drop your bow.
What should
Why
I
not?
do?
Even taking a point blank shot, if you take a step back, take a point blank shot, you might. Well,
He
you're gonna
couldn't
incur
step back, though.
I couldn't step back.
How many? No, in the first round there was only 2 on him.
Yeah,
But he didn't drop his bow
and
yet.
And I believe
yeah.
that during
Yeah,
that
the first turn
round,
I did a ranged.
Okay, well in the second round, well before you got surrounded on 4 ways,
no, by
You
the
should not
second
drop your
round
bow.
he was surrounded. Because Autumn and Sorrow moved, and then they went all around him.
But like, I was in the middle. You can still see on the map that little square around the vampires is where I was, and those vampires are where the vampires were by the second round. And I had an initiative of 3, so I was going last.
I do think there is... I don't know if this is a point that Dave intended, but there is something of a good point in what Dave said, and it's just, you know, your bow, that's your magic weapon. Like, that's your one really good item, correct? So, if the
Yes.
battle were to turn sour and you'd have to flee, you don't know, maybe you're not going to have a chance to pick it up or not. I mean, if it's your life or your bow, obviously you pick your life, but, you know, it's a minor action to put it away.
I'd take the bow.
I'm not saying under no circumstance ever drop the bow, but just understand that if you drop anything you drop, you possibly might never get back. An enemy can technically just pick it up and start using it against you, or just run away with it.
Okay.
I mean, the rolls for this entire battle were shit from the beginning. I mean, the rolls
Yeah,
only
that was
turned
horrible.
the party's way, like, near halfway through. But I'm just saying, like, in the future, even if you get surrounded by all four there, what I would have done is take a 5-foot step northeast, and
But
then
he
you go
couldn't.
twin strike. Why not?
I was surrounded.
He was surrounded. He he played as tactfully as he could. There was the only time he switched to melee was when there was absolutely no place he can shift to with his bow.
If he had used his bow, because they were not
No,
just
but-
where they are now, they were completely surrounding him. He couldn't move. If he'd used his bow, that would have been like, what, five
5.
opportunity attacks?
Yes.
Oh, it was
He would have
surrounded
died
by
faster
5?
than Wreckage.
The creeper was standing there or something.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, he was.
I'll need to check if 4th edition has a feat that allows you to shoot in, like, melee range without incurring attacks of opportunity.
But it's definitely true that the terrible rolls at the beginning didn't help, because the vampires were weak and we missed like 3 out of 4 attacks against them early on.
I think the
Sorrow
major
would
issue
seem
here
to help with
was
that.
initially not properly assessing the situation before diving into action. Because, you know, once you guys were holed up in there, you know, holding your choke point, you know, things weren't too bad. Obviously it would have helped if you had a defender with you, but considering you guys did not have a defender, essentially, during the entire battle, I think you guys definitely did the best with what you had.
I'm surprised we survived, actually. I was sure we were all gonna die. But conveniently, Mr. Priest got all cocky and decided not to attack for a turn or two.
I'm also kind of surprised you guys didn't ask Sorrow more questions.
It's just John sounds so awkward when he's answering them. I didn't want to bother him.
Because John, Sorrow came from this level, so she knew exactly who was here, how many. She could have told you all this.
I asked her about complications. She obviously has no imagination.
This is true.
And it was like, well, what's the best thing to do? And she's like, well, let's go through the double doors. When clearly the best thing to do would have been to go up through the side and attack the vampire things first.
Well, she would not know exactly where they'd be standing at a particular point in time.
Well, then she's not a very useful traitor, is she? I thought she knew everything. She let me down. I'm gonna create a false YouTube account and complain about how Sorrow sucks.
You're gonna troll my account.
If you see anything suspicious like, OMG, Coltaine's the best, Sorrow's horrible, it's not me. I swear.
You know, for me, the funniest part of this is that I don't know if you know about my D&D Quick Tips series, but one of my first, possibly my first, quick tip was about using choke points to your advantage. And I believe I used this very map to illustrate
Yes.
the advantage
Yes, you
of
did.
choke points.
Yeah,
And
you,
round 1, break the choke point!
I never watched any of that stuff.
It was a trick to confuse the enemy.
You sure confused them alright.
Hey, this is easier than we thought.
How have all our other minions failed?
And this is how the trick always works. We get them overconfident, and then they don't attack us on their turns because they think they'll be fine, and somehow we pull it together, knock them into
And
a
then they
pit.
get pushed down a giant hole.
Yeah, that happened before. We're gonna lose. I pushed that hobgoblin into the well, after throwing my halberd at the ground next to him.
But yeah, given how quote-unquote easy it is to push someone down a well, I hope you understand why it's not an instant death, considering you guys could also be pushed down holes.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
Oh, it's possible, well, not you, but that these three might slip down the chains, so we might get to see that, and then you'll be able to judge how fatal or lethal the fall is, and whether it's onto a solid or a liquid.
It's a good thing I got an extra 10 hit points.
Maybe you should drop something glass down the hole, because if it shatters, it's definitely solid. Oh no, wait, it might do the same thing if it hits liquid at that distance.
It makes a thumping noise, and then we're really confused.
Well, if it's glass and it makes a thumping noise, chances are it didn't shatter.
You know, you hear boing, and it comes back up.
That would be really confusing, because that means
You
there's
guys
sharp
can't
pointing
even
at the bottom.
confront Galarel. Every time you drop down, you get bounced back up. He just completes the ritual while you're jumping up and down.
It's the
It would
Thwarted
have
by
been
a
even
trampoline.
funnier if the priest came back up on his turns, because it took 6 seconds, you know, to fall and then bounce back up, and then he shot something and fell again, so that we never had a chance to fight back.
Well, you could ready an action. But it's funnier if I don't say that.
Yeah, way to go.
Way to ruin your joke with a sound strategy.
What a lulz
I
killer.
don't know why we play with you, CJ.
Oh my god, guys, just realized. What's the
could just
dwarven
start a
armor
flame
smith
war
gonna
that
be
way.
now?
What?
His best friend died. The dwarven armor smith's best friend died.
Oh,
He'll just
be
get
so
pissed at
sad.
Dave's new character.
It's true, if he's making a monk, that's no armor.
There's a D&D 4th edition for dummies on Amazon.
Wow, we could do with that. Tip number 1. Don't charge the enemy out of your choke point.
In fairness to Dave, though, based on what he directly saw, there was no point in holding the choke point because A, he predicted ranged attack from the dude, the priest, and B, you outnumbered the melee attackers, so the choke point would have worked to your disadvantage. That being said, not enough time was given to appraise the situation, given you'd heard that there were vampires around.
I will admit that, you know, it's sometimes a pretty good idea to try and take out the high value target first. It just worked out so terribly, you know, like running past those 2 warriors and they both got opportunity attacks. And even when one of them fumbled, he fumbled on the opportunity attack, not at his turn, so his turn came after. It was just lousy.
Yeah, if you'd all been able to move up to the underpriest, I think things would have gone a lot differently. However, things did not pan out that way.
I'm mainly looking at the fact that his initiative was 22 and the rest of us were 10 or lower.
Yeah, it's kind of silly to... No, not kind of silly. It's kind of unexpected when you look at initiative that way. That, like, you can go do something expecting your teammates will be able to do something, which they probably would, except, you know, the enemy can act first.
Well, there's always a
is
choice
applying.
to delay your action.
Doug is applying League of Legends logic.
Technically, you guys can all delay your turns so that you all act one after another, if you think it would be
get
advantageous to
confused.
do so.
Keep delaying
requires us to be
until after
smart.
someone else.
Well, obviously you
Going in
delay
infinite
until the
loop.
person with the lowest initiative.
You might create an temporal paradox because maybe you'll be like, I delay until person X, and then like person X is like, oh wait, delay until person Y, and then person Y is like, I'm gonna delay until the first person who delayed, and then you're gonna be like, what the?
Well, thankfully you don't delay to a person, you delay to an initiative number, so that solves that.
Otherwise
I'm,
you're
Mr.
screwed.
Party pooper here. Buzz Killington. Alright, next week, the final showdown with Calarel, the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny. Who will emerge victorious? The Drogon, Sorrow, Wintier, or Calarel?
The Drogon.
Yeah,
My
the
money's on the
Drogon.
Drogon.
I vote none of the above.
Or none of the above. Everyone
They're all just gonna
Mut-
explode at the end.
mutually assured destruction, yes.
They'll save the day, but
Funny
they'll all die.
if the 4 of us go down and then suddenly it's a free-for-all, and it's actually like each one of us in a different corner and we're just trying to... Well, you know. It's the way you said it, it sounded like it was 4 different factions instead of 2.
Well, technically you are 4 different factions. You each have your own agendas. And Coltaine's doing a piss-poor job recruiting people into the Drogons.
He doesn't... That's not on his agenda. He left his agenda at home.
You can borrow mine, it's probably on my body somewhere.
Actually, to be honest, Coltaine's probably a little confused about why he's doing this. He found his master and he's been convinced to help save the world, but it doesn't seem like a good idea anymore.
This is a great time to have
Maybe go
second
down
thoughts.
and flee.
As you're sliding down the chain to punch Calarel in the face.
Hey guys, you want to join the Drogons? Yeah, okay, alright, great. Go on without me. Don't let me
I'm
down.
gonna take on a management position.